Okay. Yo, what's up, Saint? How's it going, brother? It has been a minute. Just chilling. Trying to get a little bit of a last minute streaming in before my little vacation to Mexico coming up tomorrow. So, wanted to come drop in, say hi, sprinkle some bullshit on everybody. How about you, bro? How are things going on your end, man? What are you up to today? Oh hell yeah! Is that like your entrance exam to college or like a specific examination to get into like a uni? Oh nice. World's most popular English proficiency exam. Oh good shit, bro. When do you get your results? Bam. That shit must be fucking stressful. Academic or general training? I see. Hell yeah, dude. I actually do. That exam structure seems pretty nuts. Yeah, I mean, dude, your comprehension skill is pretty good. Dude, honestly, I hope you pass. Like it seems like it's a pretty fucking intense ass fucking exam structure, man. Hell yeah, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Good shit, Dougie. Dude, fuck yeah. I was about to say, like, your English proficiency coming from my illiterate ass seems pretty good, actually. Like, yeah, you're fucking on point. Punctuations and everything, G. Like, good on you. I could barely fucking read. That's why I do talk to text a lot. Happy for you, Dougie. I hope you don't have to pay any money for it. Is it like something that's given to you? Like, do you have to do that on your own? Like, is that something you had to pay for out of pocket, or is it like something that is easily accessible? Um, what's been happening? This has been like post UFC fight. This is fuck, bro. Several $100. I'm imagining, huh? Pieces of shits. They always do it like that stupid shit where it's like an exam you need and they jack it up for no fucking reason. What's been going on in America? We're about to celebrate our 250-year anniversary. There is a state fair that's been happening all week long that has gotten zero fucking people to attend because all of the fucking Republican fans are all bots. So they ain't nobody at the fucking fair because ain't nobody proud to be an American at the moment. Bro, that's expensive as fuck for a test, G. Like what the fuck? God damn. And let's see. So yeah, there's Supreme Court just ruled that birthright citizenship is a part of the Constitution, and the Republicans can't take it. If you are born on this country's soil or in our territories, you will be considered an American citizen. So they shot that down. So the Supreme Court said that the Constitution will stand, thankfully. And then the Supreme Court also ruled that Donald Trump has to pay $5 million to E. Jean Carroll, the woman that he raped in the 1990s. What else was there? Uh, the Supreme Court ruled that Donald Trump has the ability to fire people within the federal government, but not the federal chair, not the people that have to deal with finances. What else was there? Yeah, there was a few landmark cases that happened. Yes, but he was trying to get out of not paying her. Like he was trying to make it so it got appealed all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's like, "Nah, dog, you raped her. You have to pay $5 million for your civil case." Yes, but they had been appealing the verdict all the way up until the Supreme Court, so that the motherfucker didn't have to pay. And I still think he's on the hook for the $5 million and plus the $80 million that he owes her because he kept defaming her in public. So like as soon as like the trial was done and he was already proven to have raped her, he immediately started going and bashing her. So then he ends up suing. She ends up suing him again and gets a defamation thing. Right. So usually rape would have been like a disqualification factor for Americans back in the day when this was still a good country and founded by Christian values, I guess. So they're like essentially trying to get him from paying out what he owes her, but they just rejected it. So of course Donald Trump is out there saying that the Supreme Court is fixed. It's all like Democrat, left-leaning, Marxist communists. So now he's trying to start a war with the Supreme Court that he pretty much handpicked all of them. It's a 6-3 super conservative majority because the Republicans cheated. So the motherfuckers out here still bitching. And like this little tiny fuck recently said like if the Democrats win, Mike Johnson came out there and was like, if the Democrats win, they're going to investigate all of us. They're going to investigate his donors, his businesses, the Congress. They're going to go after all of his corrupt people. And it's like, yeah, dog. Yeah, we're going to come after every single one of you. All you guys are going to go to jail. Yep. That guy. Christian values guy. The grab him by the pussy guy. The one that's like actively bombing a school of children in Iran. The good Christians. Because they were infidels. Come on, let's be honest. They weren't going into heaven anyway. If we dropped a bomb, does that mean anything? No. You know?
I'm gonna talk to somebody. Nobody will listen, but I'm gonna talk. Well, good morning, everyone. This week we're celebrating America's 250th birthday. And I've been thinking a lot about what that actually means for 2026.
What does it mean, lady?
250 years ago, a group of people decided that freedom is actually worth fighting for. They were outnumbered by the British. They were outgunned by a complete empire. And you know what? They won anyways. So what is 200?
Dude, that's too good. But a lot of these politicians are kind of a little bit homosexual, might be incloseted. So I think it would be grab them by the cock. I think the way Trump keeps talking about the very strong men, like I think he really wants to grab him by the cock.
150 mean? It means freedom isn't self-sustaining. Someone always has to be willing to defend it. And strength isn't just about having the biggest, most lethal army. It's about having the will to actually use it. Because deterrence requires not just capability, but it requires will. That's always been the American way. Peace through strength. Now, the greatest military in history of the world doesn't happen on its own.
No shit.
It takes investment, focus, and leadership that...
It takes a collective of people that came here under the same interests. So if it doesn't really matter if they were gay, trans, minorities, they were still willing to fight for this country. What did you guys decide to do? You decided to make their sacrifice not mean anything because you didn't like the fucking different denominations of shit they did. So,
never lose
congratulations.
Sight of the fundamental truth. The best way to prevent war is to make absolutely certain that your adversaries know you have the capability and the will to defeat them, and defeat them decisively. 4 years under President Biden, we clearly didn't.
Dude, of course. Because, like, if you think about it, if I feed you, if I give you all this money, you're just gonna get too comfortable. Then you'll start, like, wondering what, like, you'll just start becoming lazy. So the best thing to do is give it to, like, Elon Musk, because he's, like, the least laziest person. Because I see that guy in his chiseled out body fucking constantly working and doing something, not high on ketamine at all. But, you know, and it's kind of nice because now the Iranian drones somehow are able to blow up our multi-million-dollar planes. It's kind of crazy. Yep. You know, honestly, there's a lot of Lebanon that's looking ripe for this the season. You know, there's like certain lands that I would say feel like good property. You know, like a nice golf course. So as long as they give Trump a golf course, like, he doesn't care. Like, all they need to do is give him a golf course. Dude, Putin is fucking. I've never like the whole Soviet mentality of Moscow will never burn has gone up in smokes, man. Like, it's kind of crazy that this level of resistance has been put up by such a small army, but that goes to show you, like, this lady is even bringing it up. She's like, we fought the British and we were outnumbered, outgunned, and out just maneuvered in every front, but somehow we won. Why? Because no one's gonna come into your fucking house and your home and tell you what to do. So how is this going to work in Iran? When these people know, by the definitions of our founding principles, that an invading army into your home will never win. Freedom will succeed, dog. What's up, baby? Welcome, bad boys. Welcome. I'm telling you, dog, like, the fun, like, how do we... Yes, the French were a big fucking help, man. And like, that's a lot of things that we all tend to forget. That's why it's like, what did you guys ever do for us? They helped. Chilling, my guy. Today today I'm streaming before I fly out to Mexico. So I'm just doing like 4 hours today to kind of catch up on the news, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, for a whole week I might not look into politics. I'll be at Mexico at the beach, soaking up sun, eating all-inclusive meals, all-inclusive drinks for 5 days straight, 5 nights straight. So I'm just pretty fucking excited. You know, I know I'm just going to be like constantly Googling shit. I don't even know if they're going to let me back in, dog. So yeah, you know, I'm deciding to take my Independence Day and go to Mexico and enjoy some of the beaches. That's what, bro, if they go through my Facebook, I am fucked. You know how much shit I talk about Trump on a regular basis on my Facebook, like my personal account? Like, fuck me. If they took it up, it's everything is just like, just ragging on him. I have like 8K posts on my like Facebook, and it's practically all ragging Trump. They won't let me back in. But hey, man, if I get deported to Mexico, I think I could live fairly comfortably, you know, just make money off of stocks and just live off the residuals and just see what I could do there. I mean, I couldn't do the heat, to be completely honest with you, bro. Look at, you think I want to be in the fucking hot weather? Hell no, dog. What am I gonna do? Swim there? You know how much fucking drag resistance my body hair has to water? That's not my element, dog. Like, I don't like the fucking oceans and I don't like the heat.
Do that. Instead of asking questions like, are we lethal? Are we...
But yeah, what are you doing for the? Are you got any plans, bad boys, for the 4th? You doing any like grilling up there, buddy? Bro, dog, are you fucking kidding me? Wax, homie, I'll bleed the fuck out. What do you mean wax? What am I gonna do? Spend like a fucking 12-hour session at the waxing place? I've already done my butt and my back, bro. That's already like a hour and a half ordeal. Like that shit's ridiculous. You know, like I'm surprised. Like I could get like easy access to infections with all those pores open, with all my hair gone. Fuck no, dog. Like, you kidding me? That shit's gonna be wild, bro.
Ready. Can we win?
Like, I'm all for it. And again, nothing against waxing. Every now and again, I like to get my back waxed because I get like the wings. I get the wing burn. Like there's like the center's like fully empty, and then I have like these two Italian angel wings and shit. So like that's all I got. It looks like I'm a bat. So that's kind of nice to wax every now and again. And I've noticed that your body, yeah, I could do lasering. That might take a fucking hot minute too, but I've gotten pretty used to my body hair. Like at this point, I love the thing. Like I've noticed by removing some of the hair that I have had in certain parts of my body, like I don't chafe because I never have like skin to skin rub contact anywhere. Like my butt cheeks, my thighs, it's all hair. So it just provides like this endless friction. I don't chafe. But moments where I've waxed it, I've had like work weeks where, you know, I'm on my feet 12 hours a day, 3 to 4 days a week, chafing, dog. And that's some crazy shit. You don't realize like how important it is until you actually lose your hair. And I'm like, holy shit. 100%. 100%. And I got to thank my dad for that, bro. My dad has like his shirt being pushed out by like a few inches everywhere all over his body because of how thick his hair is. But my dad has always been so fucking doesn't care, never been self-conscious about hair. He's like, "Yep, I'm a hairy ass fucking individual. What are you going to do about it? Move the fuck on." He's like, "Look, you're going to be hairy as fuck too, dog." Oh shit. 5 streams straight, baby. Good shit, baby. Not hardly and body hair. Oh no shit. Like so a lot of. Oh yeah, you don't have any body hair, huh? Yeah, yeah. Straight up. You guys have like long gorgeous hair though. Like what why we end up having like certain issues with like the Hispanic population is cuz we're so envious because they got some hairy ass motherfuckers too, but they never go bald. Dog, every time you see a older Hispanic gentleman, motherfuckers got a full head of hair. Like that's some props, you know? Like it's fucking crazy. But like, what else are you gonna do? Like at this point, like you're stuck with yourself, dog. Like, might as well get along. What am I gonna do? Unhairy myself? I have like fucking hundreds of years of Armenian genetics in me. Ain't no way, man. I'm sure if you look at my fucking DNA under a microscope, you'll see a patch of fucking hair there. There might be a soul patch somewhere in that fucking DNA strand. Like the double helix is probably encased in fucking hair. You probably can't even split that helix. You probably like fucking clog up the drains.
Biden's
That shit's a superpower, bro. Like, what is it? Like Shiva? No, what was it? Sindel? Yeah, Sindel with her fucking hair powers and shit. Mortal Kombatter status. See, but this is what you gotta learn as a hairy individual. You gotta learn hygiene. Ain't nobody tell you that. And now that bidets are blowing up, like I've always liked wet wipes. Wet wipes have always been my favorite. You know, like the Continental, whatever the disposable, flushable ones. I've always liked wet wipes, but now that bidets are a thing, people are really raving about them. But like for a hairy individual, it's very hard to dry. So it's like people are like, well, then have a towel or use toilet paper to dry yourself off. And like that negates the point of fucking using a bidet in the first place. So definitely very. Ooh, thank you, baby. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, got me fucking eggs and hash browns. No, no one could help me. My therapist said no one could help. It's okay. It's okay. But at least now that I have like some food in front of me, I'll shut the fuck up and listen to this lady talk about how she's a better Christian even though she sucks. So it's gonna be great.
certain that your adversaries know you have the capability and the will to defeat them and defeat them decisively.
So Mike Johnson with some of the Republicans, the Speaker of the House, the speaker is straight out right, motor mouth. At least I have like some decency to somewhat swallow my food, or at least cover my mouth to some degree. But Magic Mike Johnson over here in the Republican Party are gonna come and tell us how they need to pass the voter suppression bill, Save America Act, through our National Defense Authorization Act avenue. So instead of voting on the Save America Act, which has bipartisan non-support for, they're trying to add the proof of citizenship to register to vote and voter ID as a part of this broader range of national defense authorization. So they're trying to hide that in this bill because Donald Trump is crying. Fuck you, streamer boo. Practically, in all honesty, like I wouldn't put it past them, but like, dumbass, you gave all the oil contracts to your cronies in Venezuela. How is that still not dropping the price? Where are they selling that oil to if it's not benefiting the United States? Why the fuck did we kidnap that fool? So the Republican Party right now, there was a recent bill that was passed. This bill was going to make it so that big corporations can't just buy up houses. They have to allow single families to be able to purchase homes. This bill was going to authorize more money to be allocated towards loans for first-time home buyers, and it was also supposed to restrict big-ass corporations from buying up a shit ton of fucking properties that should be for single families. So it got signed in the House, passed. Got signed in the Senate, passed. All Trump has to do is fucking sign that paper. He's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sign it until you guys pass the Save America Act, which is then going to restrict voting in this country. Or they get to determine who gets to vote. So it's pretty much 100%, bro. They want this. They want Trump to stay in office because once the Democrats go in office, all these guys are going to go to jail. Like, the amount of corruption is so blatant. The market manipulation is so blatant. You're 100% going to go to jail. Like, that's what's going to happen. So that's a little catch up. So Magic Mike right here, he was told by Daddy that you're going to go up there and you're going to fucking sell this thing, or I'm not signing these documents, and I'm pretty much going to make you look like a bitch. I'm going to make it look like you're a bitch and you have no power. And that's what he's doing. So Magic Mike Johnson, see, the thing is, I hope they go to jail. I have like my doubts that they actually might. But if there's like a real investigation and justice is blind, most of the entire Republican Party is going to go to jail for just like blatant corruption and violations of insider trading, the Hatch Act, and various other forms of ethical and, moral laws. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. There are corrupt ass people in the Democratic Party. We've seen a bunch of them, like Chuck Schumer. We'll still say he is because what are you doing in there? Like, again, I'm willing to shit on that fool too. But like, dude, the Republicans are doing it so openly, they don't give a fuck anymore. Like, you're not even trying to do it in secret, dog. It's like this motherfucker's trying to just do the cocaine in the middle of the dining table at a fucking press conference. Like, bro, hide that shit in the bathroom. What are you doing? Like, guy.
4 years under President Biden, we clearly didn't do that. Instead of asking questions like, are we lethal? Are we ready? Can we win? Biden's administration asked, are we meeting our DEI quotas? They handed promotions out based on checked boxes. Readiness conversations were crowded out by woke mandates, and they created a military that the world's bad actors began to see as distracted and soft. That's dangerous. But you know what? We're fixing it. The Working Families Tax Cuts rebuilt the foundation of military that is focused on one thing, and that is warfighter readiness. Not quotas, not ideologies, readiness and lethality. And that's the way it should be. Now I want to talk about a contrast that we're seeing because it's stark and it actually matters. Republicans believe in a strong America. We believe our military should be feared by our enemies and trusted by our allies. We believe in fair and just enforcement of the law. And then, you look at the other side. We've watched the radical left call to defund the police, turning their backs on the men and women who run towards danger so the rest of us don't have to. We've heard Democrat voices say that America deserves what happened on September 11th. And that somehow we brought on ourselves. Let me remind everybody that 2,977 Americans went to work that morning and never came home. And someone decided that that was justice. We've watched members of their coalition say Israel, our closest ally in the Middle East, doesn't have the right to exist.
All right, we're going to go back a little bit because this bitch needs to be fucking told some things. And yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like Gavin Newsom, same shit. Kamala Harris, same shit. She was the fucking police, man. Kamala Harris was a cop. Say what you will about her. She had a lot of issues in California during her times as, I believe, the attorney general there or something like that. So she was not liked by a lot of people that were left-leaning because she arrested so many people for weed and shit like that. We have no issue saying there's a lot of bullshit issues that the left does participate in. We still haven't done our good overall cleansing and our overall shift as a party, but our party is definitely a lot better when it comes to doing things because it's actually backed by science and there is like an actual level of accountability that the Republican Party does not have. There is no accountability. Motherfuckers still trying to tell me that someone carved up the reflecting pool. Bro, you didn't fucking treat the concrete. What do you mean? So like there is not just a lack of accountability on the Republican side, there is a complete moral ineptitude on the fucking Republican side where pedophilia is now not even an issue for these fucks. Working with a foreign company and foreign agencies, having Jared Kushner working as a private envoy to the United States as a citizen with no governmental power? Like, what? Yep. And I remember you saying that, Zan. Like, thank you very much for bringing that shit up. They didn't fucking treat the concrete before they did anything. Or if they did, they probably were going to do a half-assed job if they did. So I'm like, you have to lie and tell me that there's people at the American State Fair right now because you're like no different than Soviet Russia propaganda in the news. Serial killers were rampant during the Soviet rise because they wouldn't report crimes. They would try to hide their populace from knowing that there was crimes being committed. Like, guys, like, this is what happens when you're such a fucking wimp. You can't admit you fucked up. It's okay, you fucked up. Just say it so we can move on. But no, we're still going to be dealing with the reflecting pool. Like, come on, man. Like, what happened to the Republican Party? The buck stops with me. A man takes accountability. You know, like, bro, a general in a fucking... in a military moment is going to have to make decisions and live with the consequence. If that bitch is too scared to make any decision or take accountability after the mistake, then how will we ever get better? We won't. And we're just going to keep doing this stupid shit. Motherfuckers going to tell me what Jesus would have done. No.
Members of their coalition say Israel, our closest ally in the Middle East, doesn't have the right to exist. A democracy. An ally gone.
You don't think people in California should exist, so shut your ass up, lady. You don't. We're worried about enemies of Israel saying Israel shouldn't exist, bro. You're trying to blow up Cuba. We don't think Iraq should exist. Y'all don't think Palestine should exist. Like, Apparently, you guys are okay with non-existence.
Just like that.
What are we bitching about?
If it never existed. And recently, the Democratic Party is actually lifting up as a leader. She uses the American flag as a napkin. As a napkin.
Who are
Think
you
about
talking
that
to?
for 1 minute.
Who are
That
you
flag
talking to?
has been draped over coffins of.
Who are you talking to?
The Democratic Party is actually lifting up as a leader. She uses the American flag as a napkin. As a napkin.
Who the fuck you talking about? Yeah, I was thinking like AOC because it could be Ilhan Omar. Because like they keep making like jabs like this, like Ilhan Omar. Bro, she's a U.S. citizen, right? Yeah, like so what are we doing? Why do we keep disenfranchising American citizens in this country just because they exercise their freedom of speech? What happened to is it AOC? Okay.
Of 18-year-olds who never got to come home. Fathers who kissed their kids goodbye.
You're right. And Donald Trump was wearing a fucking hat at the dignified transfer of bodies, bro. So you sent 13 soldiers to die for what reason at this point? Strait of Hormuz is still closed?
Without knowing it. Husbands whose wives still sleep on one side of the bed. It has been folded slowly, deliberately, with shaking hands, and placed in the arms of mothers and fathers, of widows, of children too young to understand why their mom or dad.
Fuck you for using horrific events of losing a loved one that was serving in the military as your propagandist tool. And to shame other Americans for being fucking U.S. citizens and expressing their freedom of speech correctly. Fuck, hey bro, honestly, if you want to make some money right now, bro, go and register the Strait of America website. I guarantee you, bro, you'll make some motherfucking money, dog. You'll have Trump begging to buy that fucking domain name off of you, bro.
Isn't coming back. They will hold it for the rest of their lives because it's all they have left. It flies over every veteran cemetery in this country. It's the last things families will ever receive.
What about Trump and his bitch-ass campaign going to Arlington Cemetery and the unnamed soldier and videotaping there? What about him calling fucking John McCain a loser because he was captured? What about in Pearl Harbor when you decided to go over there and say you didn't want to visit the graves? No, in Europe. And say you didn't want to visit the graves of suckers and losers because they died on D-Day. But I forgot. You guys, because you drape yourself in the flag, you guys have the right of way of patriotism.
And this woman used it as a napkin. That's the comparison. That's the contrast. That's who the Democratic Party is lifting up. But it's more than that.
And by the way, despite the rules of standards for flag, the American flag, it's not supposed to be on napkins, but it is. So people are literally wiping their nose with the American flag, lady. So yeah, if we're trying to go to like decency of flags and the representation of the flags, how about we also stop having fucking paper plates that are red, white, and blue American flags? Because every time you throw that in the trash, that's pretty disrespectful to the flag. I'm happy to remove all flags from things that are not respectable in merchandise, bro. Exactly. So I'm like, what the fuck? So like, if we're trying to do this the correct way, it needs to be taken off all advertisement and anything that could sully the reputation of the country that it represents. That's what I mean. It's like, bro, it's on bikinis. Uncle Sam could be on my like genital area. That's not proper flag code conduct.
Around the world, in countries living under oppression, under tyranny, under regimes that crush the human spirit,
Right. Fucking nationalism. Made in China. Made in Taiwan.
That flag actually means something. It's the symbol of freedom, of liberty, of the ideal that people deserve to determine their own destiny.
Come on then, dog. Come on then, dog. Bro, if you got the TNA, dog, I think Uncle Sam would be proud. We bled and died for the freedom so then we could see bouncing titties. I love it, man. Red, white, and blue.
There are people on this earth who would risk everything just to stand beneath it. And someone in the Democratic Party that they want to send to Washington admitted to wiping her greasy hands with the American flag. That's who the Democratic Party is. Using the American flag to wipe their greasy little hands with.
What is she talking about? Is there like a video of AOC wiping her hands or saying she was wiping her hands of the American flag? Because in my country, if you say I'm wiping my hands with something, that means you're done with it. Like you're, in my country, when you're like washing your hands of it, means you're done. Like, go away. Like, it's over. Like, I have like no respect for you. But like, again, that's symbolic. Just like burning the flag is allowed under the free speech First Amendment because it's a right to express yourself. It was already protected multiple times that you are able to burn the flag in protest. If you wanted to, I don't want you to, but you are welcome to urinate on the flag as a sign of protest. Do I think that's correct? Do I think anybody should do that with any country's flag? Fuck no. But who am I to stop how you want to protest? If that's how you chose to want your free speech carried, I support your right to do that. Would I ever do that to support my... No, because I don't like that. That, me personally, I don't like doing that. I think there's a lot of value to the flag and I have a lot of respect for it. But not saying that people who do certain forms of speech don't respect the flag either. They do. But the flag has kind of left the ideals that this country was founded on. So how do you expect people to keep having respect? For fuck's sake, I don't even want to be in America for 4th of July. I'm going to Mexico. Like, I'm dipping out of my own country in my Independence Day because what am I independent from? Or what did we run away from the tyrannies of a monarchy to have a fucking orange pedophile be my king? Ugh.
That's...
At least if it was like a sexy James Bond, I'll take Dr. Evil, dog. If Dr. Evil was at least my president, I could have maybe some respect. Like,
who they're lifting up. That's the direction of the Democratic
it's so
Party.
boring. Shut up, lady.
You know what? The American people deserve to know it, and the Democrats, you better own it, because silence is agreement.
What are you
But
talking
here's
about?
what I know.
Yeah, so
Most
the Epstein
people,
files and
left,
pedophile stuff.
Right, center, they don't want that. They want safe communities. They want a military that can protect them. And they want a country to be proud of. That shouldn't be a Republican idea. It should be an American idea.
Teacher, I got something to say. If our military is so good, and Washington, D.C., as a result, is the safest city on the planet, because, you know, big dick military, how did Antifa cut up the pool? That's true. Bro, I got in trouble a lot at school for that very reason. This teacher would be 2 sentences in, I'd be like, and then I'd be so mad that they didn't call on me. They'd be like, patience. I'd be like, fuck you saw my hand.
As we head into this 250th birthday, our job is simple. Leave this country stronger than we found it. A military that is ready. A republic that is free. just like generations before us did. They did our part. Now it's time for us.
Which part of the Republican platform has been towards the independence of people? You guys have done everything to restrict comedians, restrict media, restrict the internet, restrict Twitter. Elon bought it and did the exact reverse. Fool is trying to get his chat algorithms to actually like him, and it still don't.
To do ours.
Fucking sad.
And with that, I want to turn it over to my friend and colleague from Texas, Ms. Beth Bandy.
Holy crap, lady, you are tall. That is a tall human.
Apparently I'm the tallest person.
Or she's really short. No,
I wanna
because
thank,
Mike Johnson
Speaker
is short
Johnson
too.
And Majority Leader Scalise and Sherwin.
She's really short then.
For having me here today. As July 4th approaches, so does the 1-year anniversary of our working families.
Look how
tax
disassociated this little bitch
that's
is.
being signed into
Look at that shit.
into law by President Trump after passing both the House and the Senate, saving the American people from the largest tax increase.
Ooh. Enjoy, baby. See you in a bit. Don't burn yourself.
In our nation's history, and delivering
Hell yeah.
real relief for hard-working Americans. And now,
Over
thanks
East.
to the working families tax cut,
I was like, bro, is that like some Native American shit? Like over East? Like you guys fucking like chuck it on the East side? Like, what's going on with that over East?
we are in a new era of making sure hardworking Americans keep more of what they earn and are paid more for what they do to support their families.
Don't
Passing
want to
the
go to
working
the...
families tax cuts was a multi-year endeavor of talking to folks from across the country. Hearing directly from the American people guided everything that we did to ensure that more dollars stayed in their pockets and so that we could help as they worked to recover from government-created and historically high inflation, from brutal Biden-era job-killing regulations, and the sacrifices to make ends meet from month to month just to keep their businesses afloat. Empowering American families was central to everything that we would do. Getting these tax cuts done correctly to help working Americans was personal to me. I know what
How?
it's like to work an 8-hour job, a minimum wage position, and then pick up additional shifts at another
Who is
job
this lady?
just so I could scrape for every dollar to pay rent at the end of the
I wish I knew what her name was, because we'd Google that shit and kind of see what her fucking upbringing was.
month. And keeping all the money that I earn from tips
Because these motherfuckers think small businesses is somebody that employs 200 people. That's what they think a small business is. They think a small business is an employer of 200 people. That's what they fucking think is, bro. I don't think she ever did, bro. Like, that's the
made
thing.
the difference between being able to go to the grocery store to buy what I wanted to eat.
Once we find out her name too, like I'll definitely Google to see if she did, because I don't believe
once
it.
again have
It's like Elon Musk saying he fucking was started with from the ground up, but his dad owned a fucking emerald mine. You remember when your dad owned an emerald mine? You remember that shit? Yeah, my dad gave his up a long ass time ago.
to pack up leftovers, sent back to the restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. Or fucking what is it? Doing it by their own bootstraps, like Trump's dad's $100 million fucking gift.
Kitchen
Doing it
at
all
the
by
end of
himself.
the night, and legitimately, I did that. Just like we have working Americans across the country doing that day in and day out. And as a mom of two, with one child facing serious health battles, the expanded child tax credit and largest standard deduction would have let me pay for the care that my daughter needed, without having to skip treatments or having to beg insurance bureaucrats who really didn't care if she got better or not. Democrats mock these tax dollars that saved for the American people. They sneer at what real relief means to real people. But I lived it. And I felt the soul-crushing anxiety of barely being able to make ends meet. And that's why these reforms matter.
Who
so
are you,
deeply,
lady?
And why they matter to every struggling family
Find out
in
who this
America.
person is.
And this isn't just about stabilizing households. It was about
I just feel like
forging
you're
a
full of shit.
stronger
Or if you said it
and
that many
brighter
times, she might
American
actually
future. And the working
actually
families
be
tax cuts
fucking
are
legit.
restoring hope. They are rewarding work, and they are unleashing the extraordinary potential of the American spirit. And that is the promise that we made, the fight that we won, and the future that we are proudly delivering for every working family in this great nation. Thank you, and God bless. And with that, look forward to hearing from our wonderful leader from the great state of Louisiana, Steve Scalise.
Well, thank you.
That is like generations before us did. And
You can lift that up.
to my friend and colleague from Texas, Ms. Beth Bandy. Turn it over to my friend and colleague from Texas, Ms. Beth Bandy.
Texas back Danny? Representative? Fuck did she say?
To my friend and colleague from Texas, Ms. Beth Bandy.
Beck Ganny? What the fuck did she say?
Ms. Beth Bandy. And with that, I want to turn it over to my friend and colleague from Texas, Ms. Beth Bandy.
Beck? Beck Ganny?
You can lift that up a little bit. I'm not apparently I'm the tallest person on it. I want to thank Speaker Johnson and Majority Leader Scalise and Chairwoman McLean for having me here today. As July 4th approaches, so does the 1-year anniversary of our Working Families Tax Cut Bill.
I still don't know what the fuck her name is.
Conservative tear down Mississippi's defense operation so that
Households. It was about forging a stronger, brighter American future. And the Working Families Tax Cuts are restoring hope. They are rewarding work, and they are unleashing the extraordinary potential of the American spirit.
Beth.
And that is the promise that we made.
Thank you, brother.
The fight
Fucking
that
A,
we
man.
won,
Having like a
and
fucking
the future
aneurysm.
that we are proudly delivering for every
Upbringing. Raised in the Air Force, yeah, moved frequently, blah, blah, blah. Attended a bunch of schools, good shit. Okay, relocated. Early to pay her way through college, she worked multiple jobs, including Olive Garden, a law firm file clerk, a receptionist at Westway Ford. Okay, so you really didn't. You got some hookups, dog. Let's not pretend you didn't get no fucking hookups and shit. Yeah, let's not like pretend you didn't get no fucking hookups. Honestly, I would not be surprised, dog. I 100% would not be surprised. I'm 24th district. I've been asked for more percent women. I'm a single working mother of 2 amazing kids. Okay, that's good. Yeah, it doesn't really. Nah, you don't really kind of mention it in your fucking blogs and shit, lady. Like, I mean, we all worked a fucking 9 to 5 at some point, but like, let's not pretend that getting a fucking to work at a law firm or to a file clerk. That seems like a pretty, or a receptionist at Westway Ford. What the fuck is Westway Ford? Sounds like a big ass company. Oh, car dealership. Oh, big ass car dealership. Okay.
family in this great nation.
She did go to Cornell. Yep, she did go to Cornell. I think Cornell is a fairly modest university, isn't it? Or is Cornell pretty high? Cornell University is a modest. Oh shit! Never mind. Cornell's pretty up there. Haha. It's highly elite, widely renowned Ivy League research institute. Yeah. Okay, so you didn't really do shit yourself.
Thank
Thanks.
you, and God bless. And with that, look forward to hearing from our wonderful leader.
I guarantee you, you finish your degree with 0 student fucking loans.
Steve Scalise.
Well, thank you, and I want to applaud Congresswoman Van Dyne for the hard work she did on the Ways and Means Committee
Oh, I
and
could have just waited for the
11
fucking
different
end of this Van
committees
Dyne.
to bring the Working Families Tax Cut to life, to law. A year ago, July 4th, all of us were on the White House lawn standing with President Trump to celebrate the signing of what's going to turn out to be one of the most historic bills we've seen in our lifetime. A bill that is ushering in more opportunity for families, more wage growth for families. You're talking about, Congresswoman Van Dyne mentioned it, what's happening right now. About 30 million Americans have taken advantage of no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. That's more money in their pockets today that they didn't have a year ago because of that legislation. And of course,
The Sharia law fucking bullshit. That's how she started her stuff, her career. Dissatisfied with geared Democratic Irving, blah, blah, blah. Early life and education. Bachelor's degree in art. But where is her personal life? Okay. Corman. Holy shit. What? So some love triangle fucking weird shit on that. That's crazy, I think. That seems like that one other Republican representative that like ended up forcing himself onto his staffer that ends up like setting herself on fire. That was a recent one too. That's weird. Oh god, she's also this weird church order. Protestant Episcopal Church of United States of America. Episcopal Church. TEC. Yeah, she's fucking nuts, bro.
keep in mind, every single Democrat voted against that bill. They voted against it because
Her modest fucking life. Bro, you were... When did you work a 9 to 5? Stop filling the fucking air with bullshit,
they
lady.
want to Washington.
The Christian people. You came out here and told me about your fucking religious ideals and you're immediately lying in front of the public.
To have more of your money. They want to control and have more power here. And to do what with it? To use it for fraud. We've seen it in states like Minnesota, leering centers that we exposed because of the provisions, the anti-fraud provisions of that bill that we passed a year ago. None of that would have been exposed if we didn't have that legislation in place that every Democrat voted against. So again, eliminating fraud in states like Minnesota so that working families, a single mom working 3 jobs can have more money in her pocket. That's what the working families tax cut represents.
Why does she need to be working 3 jobs in the first place, numbnuts? You guys are from like Texas, I'm sure. You guys have a minimum wage of like $7 still. Bro, get a fucking grip.
We're going to bring a bill later this week to reflect on and celebrate the wins for American families that bill reflected.
What wins? You saw the American State Fair. Ain't nobody show up. No one's proud to be an American. No one gives a shit to exist in this country right now. No one's having kids because you guys have literally made it impossible to exist in this country. Unless you're a pedophile billionaire. And then you guys will take care of them. Mike Johnson's got a protection racket for you.
Earlier in the week, we're going to be dealing with a number of other things too. We've got the National Defense Authorization Act.
What?
A really important bill.
What are you going to be dealing with? What big boy work do you have? You going to put on your pants today and actually be in Congress? Or are you guys going to adjourn for another week?
To set the priorities for our nation's
Please.
defense. So, of course, there are always a lot of amendments on that bill, but ultimately its final passage to make sure that we continue to reprioritize our men and women in uniform, give them the tools that they need to be successful, and continue rebuilding.
If that's the case, you wouldn't be sending them to die. You would actually be paying them and having them stay here. But now you started a fucking world war.
Our nation's defense, something that President Trump made a hallmark of this presidency. We're also bringing
our protection. Do you feel safe? You guys are scared shitless. You guys are walking around with more fucking bodyguards than you guys would ever need. Like you guys are a president in yourself, but you're not. So what are you doing?
To address the state and foreign operations.
You guys are scared shitless. Like how? Like Obama don't even travel that fucking deep from what it looks like. That guy's loved. No matter where he goes, he's liked. Even from your guys' side, he's liked. Yeah. And that's where it's like they know better and are doing that. So if she did really work a 9 to 5 job, I'll believe her. I'll take her at her word. So you're telling me you decided to do it the hard way and still ended up being a piece of shit? And still giving it to the sides of the rich corporation that fucked you over? Okay.
Budget. Mario Diaz-Balart's appropriations bill. It's another item on the agenda this week. Last night,
We
we
can
passed
deal with
a
that.
major bill to protect children online, the KIDS Act. Huge bipartisan victory. I know they're not common around this place, but it happened last night, where Chairman Guthrie and the Energy and Commerce
What about
Committee
the bipartisan
worked for
housing
months
bill?
to put together legislation to protect children online. You can see what that bill did to help
What about
protect
the
children
bipartisan
from
housing bill
pornography,
that
and
Trump
other
is not
things that we've
passing?
been trying to accomplish and we're able to do.
That Trump's
goes
not
down to go
signing.
over to the Senate. In addition to making sure our nation's defense is prioritized, we're also adding the Save America Act to the NDAA. So again, really important.
See, told you. Now they're trying to make the Save America Act be a part of the NDAA. So then they be like, look, Democrats don't want to protect America.
We're having other meetings on things like Reconciliation 3.0.
Bro, ain't nobody believe your bitch asses anymore.
But when you think of
That's why you guys look fucking scared shitless being up there. No facial expressions because you have to disassociate. Standing there by people you aren't really like fucking with shows.
about all of this, and
Yeah,
reflect on what's coming
disassociated
out
as
this
fuck.
weekend.
Disassociated
Celebrating
as
the
fuck.
nation's 250th birthday. It's going to be a
Show
great
Mike
day to see
Johnson.
This great fair on the mall with every state that wants to participate being able to show off.
I did not. Did they do like some defrauding shit where they sold more under the table than they should have? Or what happened? Because that's pretty interesting. But who's going to investigate them?
What's great about their states and what's great about our country. I come from the great state of Louisiana, where we celebrate.
I'm curious,
the
though, what
Louisiana
happened.
Purchase in 1803. That
I haven't
doubled the
heard
size of
much
our
about
nation,
it.
and what it also allowed us to do in terms of gaining access to the Mississippi River, so we could become a nation that exported our goods to the world, getting access to the port of New Orleans. That was the reason for the acquisition when Thomas Jefferson sent his detachment over to France to try to buy the port of New Orleans, and they came back with the entire Louisiana territory. By the way, for the bargain price of $15 million, we doubled the size of the country. It's a pretty darn good real estate deal. And then you think of all of the other things that our state and every state contributes to the greatness of this country. At a time when the Democrats are in a fight to go to the Bolshevik Revolution and see who can tear down America more, most Americans are celebrating what's great about this country. We are celebrating what's great about this country. Let the Democrat Party.
Oh, yeah. Definitely going to be adding that to the watch. I'll save this for later. Monkey explains. Watch later, babe. Like the title.
Try to have a fight over seeing which candidate they can come up with that hates this country the most. It's disgusting to watch on their side, but that's their problem that they're going to have to contend with. And they have not. They can't confront the evils of some of the people that they're nominating. And you look on the other side, this is a country that's actually experiencing a golden age again. And gas prices are down 50 cents from where they were just a few weeks ago and continuing to go down. Affordability is back again. And Democrats are upset about that because they wanted it as a talking point for November. But
I got a quick little AI summary of it. So that motherfucker just like pushed through all the fucking things, huh? They just bypassed most of the fucking normal wait times in the waiting period. Pieces of shit. Yeah. Exactly like someone would do to sell out the country just to stay rich. Because it's not like he has any allegiance to America. That motherfucker's like wanted in France for election meddling right now. He's gonna need to testify there. He also has to testify about his Grok AI like making child porn and shit. Like he's got a lot of answering to do.
Shows you once again why this is going to be a contrast election in November. There's maybe in multiple generations never been a sharper contrast in terms of what the voters are going to be facing on this ballot. Common sense conservatives against far left communist Marxist socialists.
Oh my god,
Which
dog.
direction
Every
the country
fucking
goes?
zinger, baby! The communist, Marxist, socialist, demon slayer people, they're taking over. Yup, it's over, dog. Yup. Lock the windows and put some salt around the doors, baby. They can't get in.
People want to go. Do they want to keep experiencing this golden age that President Trump and Republicans are ushering in?
That doesn't surprise me, because if it were to take time to actually get into NASDAQ, I guarantee you they'd find out a shit ton. Like maybe the fact that SpaceX hasn't really had a revenue or Tesla doesn't really have a revenue. They're making no money, they have no product, and they just have ideas. So it's more like an intellectual property for no real actual property. Call the priest. Hey, dog, honestly, I feel like Alex Jones and Tucker, as long as Alex Jones is the vice president, because Carlson is more palpable. Unfortunately, to say that between the two is pretty rough, but I think Alex Jones is less palpable.
Or do they want to go back to the Bolshevik Revolution, which has failed every country it's tried? This is not the country. We're going to try socialism. We will reject it. The voters will reject it in November. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Good morning, everybody. This is a great day, great week to be an American, to celebrate the greatest nation in the history of the world, and it's not even close, and you all hear me remind us of that all the time. The most free, most successful, most powerful, most benevolent nation that has ever been on planet Earth. America is back right now, and there are so many reasons to be excited and to celebrate with your family and friends. Celebrate freedom, celebrate the great blessings we have to be in this country, the greatest on the planet. We've got challenges, of course. We're working through those every day, but there is no reason not to celebrate. There is no reason to be depressed in any way. We recognize 250 years is still an experiment. We're still a grand experiment.
Shut the fuck up. First and foremost, you guys want to talk about celebrating American independence and shit like that? Show me a picture of Donald Trump eating a hot dog. Show me a picture of Donald Trump eating a hot dog. I want to see if that man could fucking eat a glizzy correctly. I want to know if he eats it sideways. I want to know what condiments he puts on it. If you guys want to represent America, show me eating a glizzy, dog. Show me his McDonald's order. I don't even know what he gets. For all I know, he only gets nuggets. Show me an American president eating a hot dog like fucking Obama did, dog. That man wasn't ashamed. He fucking hucked it down like a solid American, bro.
In 1776, the founders came together and they boldly your family.
The voters will reject it in November. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Show me.
Good morning, everybody. This is a great day, great week to be an American, to celebrate the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Are you sure?
Close, and you all hear me remind us of that all the time.
Let me ask you this. Which part of it is making me very, nationalistic right now? The fact that somehow or another, the image of us being the biggest, strongest military is kind of like, the God was shown to bleed. So now the whole world knows we can't even beat Iran. They're able to control that little fucking tiny strait that's becoming a problem. I have the American State Fair literally bringing like Kid Rock and Vanilla Ice, but you guys had to cancel it. Milli Vanilli was fucking a part of it and shit like that. Nobody showed up. The reflecting pool is green. No one could touch it. You guys have prosecuted more people that have touched the water than are in the Epstein files. Which part of this do you want me to feel happy for? The 160 school kids we killed? The fact that the Iranian FIFA fucking soccer team couldn't spend more than 24 hours in the United States to warm up and rest before they had to be booted to another fucking country? What part of this do you want me to feel happy for?
Free, most successful, most powerful, most benevolent nation that has ever been on planet Earth. America is back right now, and there are so many reasons to be excited and to celebrate with your family and friends. Celebrate freedom, celebrate the great blessings we have to be in this country, the greatest on the planet. We've got challenges, of course. We're working through those every day, but there is no reason not to celebrate. There is no reason to be depressed in any way. We recognize 250 years is still an experiment. We're still a grand experiment in self-governance. In 1776, the founders came together and they boldly proclaimed a self-evident truth. We call it the nation's creed. It's like a statement of faith. And they said right in the second paragraph of the Declaration, which we celebrate this weekend.
I would say it's definitely, it definitely has spurred up a lot of hype and reaction right now. But I don't think anything comparable to European or South American level of fascination. No, I know what you meant, baby. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm culturally hip. I know you guys call it football. I feel like they made it more of a hype, but it's also it's very hard because I think the whole Bad Bunny situation with it not being American enough and them kind of isolating them kind of has translated into FIFA in certain weird ways. I feel like I haven't heard anything going awry. I feel like more people in the United States are actually engaging in football like no other time in our country's history because we like fucking partying, dog. So if we could drink and scream into the TV, I think we love that shit. Yeah, I think that's more embarrassing, Xanth. I would not want to be fucking dead caught unless I was like, again, a journalist and a reporter doing my fucking due diligence to document this like atrocious moment in human history. um, I would. One thing I would say that pisses me off about the World Cup being in the United States, it's very hard to watch all the games because each one of the fucking streaming services has some of the games playing on different fucking premium subscription services. So you can't even like comfortably watch all the games at once. You have to either like pay a shit ton to be able to watch all the games, or it's just whatever turns up on your fucking subscription service. But I think if America gets far, Americans will give a shit. Once America's out, we don't care. So I think that's kind of like our level of give a fuck. But you know, we have a lot of people that like, you know, fucking watching the Argentina games and shit like that have been pretty fucking sick.
All these trees.
I think it's definitely building up to be more of an enjoyed sport. I think ever since the women's soccer team did so good in all the other competitions and started winning gold after gold after gold, I think the American women's soccer team really kind of put soccer more on the map for us. Because we weren't winning shit. It was like the women were the only ones that won, and then they're still not paying them.
To be self-evident. And
So
what is the self-evident truth? It's something that's obvious. Really, it should be self-evident that all men are created equal. And I always pause there and say, note that it doesn't say born equal. It says created equal by God. And that it is God, our Creator, who gives us our inalienable rights, that among those the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That statement was so revolutionary.
So we don't, I would say basketball, because we don't have a football team. Oregon doesn't have like a major league football or professional football league. We don't have a major league baseball team here either. We only have basketball, and I think Christoph, this straight up, bro. Like these guys would have been a part of like, you know, the Iron Cross and everything else too. But soccer, surprisingly enough, our minor league team and college team in Oregon, people love our sports teams in Oregon. It doesn't matter if it's minor league, professional league, college. Jesus, spitting all over myself. College. They that was a clip for the century on that one. I'm going all over myself. And college, they'll happily go out there. It's some of the funnest teams. It's some of the funnest games to go watch are Oregon sports team games, because people just go ape shit. There's so much love. There's so much cool support that people like really into that shit. Dude, that's why like Pete Hegseth is just another one of these like Christo fascists, bro. Like Pete Hegseth is in there trying to get like sermons from his priest to give him like the righteous like pathways. Like, bro, you've already gone down the devil's path.
Jefferson wrote it on behalf of a small committee of founders, including Franklin and Adams, and they came up with that precise language. They were very careful in how they articulated that. They wanted to make this bold proclamation of something that was obviously true. And we are the stewards of that great foundational principle and truth. It means that everybody's made equally, created equally. It means that we all have, we strive for equality of opportunity. It means that every single person has inestimable dignity and value because our Creator made us in His image. The men that wrote that understood it from Scripture. That is what made America exceptional. That's what set us on the path to be the great nation that we are, one nation under God. Now, all of you know, because you've been in the chamber a lot, because you cover us, if we were there, we walked over there right now, one of the first things you notice if you come in the door where members come in is that inscription of the national motto right above the speaker's roster. And if you look in the visitor's guide, it says the People's Guide, Visitor's Guide to the People's House. It's a beautiful publication they published some years back. We still hand it out full color. On page 21, it talks about why the motto is above the speaker's head and when it was placed there. And it says there it was placed in 1962 by Congress as a rebuke to the Soviets' philosophy during the Cold War. What was the Soviets' philosophy? Marxism and its deviations, communism. Marxism, socialism, communism begin with the premise that there is no God. And Congress saw fit in the early 60s to make sure that we put that right there above the head of the speaker, because every member of Congress has to face that podium every single day, and they wanted future generations of Americans, and certainly those elected to represent the people, to remember what distinguishes America. That we...
Dog, we're trying to find out what distinguishes America. Usually it wasn't, we didn't double tap fucking people in boats. Usually we just, try to protect and save some of the people we, blew up their ship. And instead of, rescuing them so then we could actually try them for certain crimes that you're accusing them of, you decided to double tap those bitches. That's a war crime. Usually we wouldn't go invade a country for no reason, but I guess Bush changed that as well. So thank you, Republicans, for continually bringing us into endless wars. We love that shit.
Defined by our national creed, the foundational principle that set us on course to be so great. Now here's what we face right now, surreal as it is. On the anniversary of the country, we have an open contest right now between the Marxists and communists and the Americans. We've been saying for months that this is setting up, this midterm will be a contrast election. We've been saying a contrast between common sense and crazy. And now you can add another line there, it's common sense versus communism. Because that's what's happening in the Democrat Party. The insurgent left is taking it over. I don't need to recount all the developments, even over the last week, for the people in this room, because you cover it minute by minute. But that is the contest that is shaping up. And so we're very sober-minded about this. A country that undermines its own foundations and founding principles does not survive. And the founders were very articulate also in their personal letters and their private correspondence.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, what do you expect from the guy that has like a porn tracking app with his fucking child? Like, how is that not weird? This is the motherfucker that took his daughter to the daughter purity bullshit. He ended up going to a daddy-daughter dance to give his daughter a purity ring. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? My favorite communist.
And the things they gave down, the advice they gave that echoes down through the generations to you and me.
Like, it's
wild, man. I can tell you one thing, though, the father of our country, George Washington, in his famous farewell address, which we read on the floor each year in the Senate and now in the House on the anniversary of his birthday, he gave all the advice that echoes down through the generations to all of us, his countrymen, how to keep the republic, an experiment that had never been done before in history. And he said, watch out for national debt. We're working on that right now, okay? Watch out for too many foreign alliances. That's become a problem sometimes. It says, make sure that you don't get into factionalism.
That's not what it said. It never said don't worry, don't have a bunch of foreign allies. When the fuck did it say that?
That echoes down through the generations to you and me. As steward founders were very foundational. And so we're very sober-minded about this. A country that undermines
Look
its
how
own
much he's
foundations,
sweating.
founding principles does not survive.
Look at him fucking sweat, dog. Look at her disassociate. Look at her disassociate. And he's just sweating. This is the guy that, like... It's like Jamie from Yellowstone. Jamie from Yellowstone, where he's like crying as he's killing the guy because he like knows it's wrong. He knows he's like fucking up, but he can't stop choking him because it's gonna ruin his life. That's how I feel like Mike Johnson is. Mike Johnson is the one that like you find out his dirty secret and he's like killing you and crying at the same time.
And the founders were very articulate also in their personal letters and their private correspondence and the things they gave down, the advice they gave that echoes down through the generations to you and me as stewards of this great experiment. They didn't know how long it was going to last. I can tell you one thing, though, the father of our country...
You're telling us, dog. It ain't going to last much.
Each year in the Senate and now in the House on the anniversary of his birthday. He gave all the advice that echoes down through the generations to all of us, his countrymen, how to keep the republic, an experiment that had never been done before in history. And he said, watch out for national debt. We're working on that right now, okay? Watch out for too many foreign alliances. That's become a problem sometimes. It says, make sure that you don't get into factionalism, regionally or by political parties. Well, we didn't follow all that either. But what he said, but you know what? Almost as a summary statement. Of all the dispositions and habits...
Are you saying what you aren't doing?
Religion and morality are indispensable supports. Again, echoing this common theme, that we recognize that our rights do not come from a king or a government, they come from God himself. And it is to him that we owe our ultimate responsibility. That's what we're fighting.
God!
The insurgent left that hates America, hates our founding principles.
God, huh? God was the one that gave us... I thought he only gave Moses the fucking stone tablets. Turns out he gave us the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, too. Holy shit. That's amazing. Love that shit, dog. It has to be. That's the only way you could be so disillusioned from what's happening in reality is to be a Republican. These motherfuckers are, again, like the sky is red and they all have to believe it. Look at this. Look at this person. All of these people have probably seen a witch burn alive and they haven't done a single fucking thing. That's the way they're looking. These are the people that are actively watching their religion and their cult murder someone, but standing there just because they're like, I need to go along with this. Fucking disassociated, like...
I'll tell you one thing, though, the father of our country, George Washington, in his famous farewell address, which we read on the floor each year in the Senate and now in the House on the anniversary of his birthday, he gave all the advice that echoes down through the generations to all of us, his countrymen, how to keep the republic, an experiment that had never been done before in history. And he said, watch out for national debt. We're working on that right now, okay? Watch out for
No, you're not. You haven't. You've been ballooning it more. You guys have caused more of the national debt than any other fucking party.
Too many foreign
So
alliances.
continue.
That's become a problem sometimes. It says, make sure that you don't get into factionalism, regionally or by political parties. Well, we didn't follow all that either. But what he said was by political parties. Well, we didn't. Sure that you don't get into factionalism, regionally or.
Oh, interesting. So factionalism, like, breaking up factions. So you guys having this weird sycophantic cult to an orange pedophile kind of feels like that factionalism, huh? Okay, continue.
By political parties. Well, we didn't follow
Are you like actively saying the shit you ain't doing?
all that either. But what he said was, but you know what? Almost as a summary statement. Of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, he wrote, religion and morality are indispensable supports. Again, echoing this common theme, that we recognize that our
No.
rights do not come from a king or a government, they come from God himself. And it is to him
No,
that we owe our
they come from man. We wrote the fucking Constitution, buddy. So no, it came from us.
ultimate responsibility. That's what we're fighting for. And the insurgent left that hates America, hates our founding principles, they hate the idea of borders and prisons. They even want to remove the president and the Supreme Court in the latest Democrat Socialists of America.
Yeah, of course we want to remove the president. That's actually correct. And we also want to fucking change the Supreme Court because you guys, as a political party, spent the better part of 2 fucking decades stacking the Supreme Court and all the other federal court fucking positions on purpose so that you guys could meddle in our fucking lives for generations to come.
Little platform statement that you should be covering. Very dangerous stuff. Yeah, they wipe their hands on the American flag. Yes, many of them have ties to terrorist organizations. You can't make this stuff up. We're no longer in a battle just between Republicans and Democrats arguing over marginal tax rates or the size of regulation. This election and this year and the arguments and the things that are happening in Congress right now is a contrast between people who love the country and its founding principles and those who have open disdain and hatred for them. They want to tear America down. They want to tear down Western civilization. And it's not going to happen on our watch. So today, we're working with the pass a rule today. We set up the National Defense Authorization Act. We will invest properly, appropriately, responsibly in America's national defense again. Our policies reflect that. We give a pay raise to our troops that's overdue, another 5 to 7%. We will advance 65 of President Trump's priorities and executive orders in legislation. We will do the things that are necessary to make sure we maintain our status as the great superpower,
Yeah. It should be, but even if we passed it, just like how it would be in his first term, we were able to get into the trial phase of impeachment. But what ended up happening is the Republicans and the Republican Party were the majority. So we needed them to work across the line. And of course, a bunch of bitches did it because they wanted him not to be impeached because the American people should vote on whether or not he should be allowed to be president again. Instead of the Republican Party doing the right and moral fucking thing to exclude him and impeach him so he could never run again, the Republican Party kept it open for self-preservation. God bless them, huh?
superpower on the
Real
planet.
patriots
It is
of this
absolutely
country.
essential that we do that. For a couple of reasons. Number one, Reagan used to
Fucking
remind us,
shitters, bro.
you hear me say all the time, freedom is not passed along in the bloodstream. It's got to be fought for, protected, taught, passed along to the next generation. Or else they won't have the same liberty and opportunity and security that we've known. And America is the leader of the world. We are the beacon of freedom.
Yes.
The Capitol building, one of the most recognized symbols on all the planet.
And then when we had the opportunity to remove the filibuster, we had pieces of shits on the Democratic side like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema who decided to snake the entire probability of us actually coming to real legislation. But nope, thanks to those 2 dumbasses that were in the Democratic side as plants, they kind of like shit the brick.
Because that Capitol dome represents liberty. It represents freedom. It represents the great nation. We will not sacrifice that now. We will double down. We'll celebrate on July 4th, our nation's grand birthday.
It's gonna be a sad-ass July 4th. Do we even have money to launch fireworks? No.
The semi-quincentennial.
It's too easy for the minority party in this country to fuck over legislation, but the Republicans took that to a whole nother level because the Democrats, when they had the ability to fight like that, they chose not to. They decided to go high while they went low, and we ended up losing a lot more power. When we had the opportunity under Joe Biden, we should have hammered home. We should have bulldozed the fuck out of them. We should have done all these investigations and send all these bitches to jail. That's what should have been done. But no, the Democrats wanted to fight nicely. For what reason? I don't know. Yep. But that's why there will never be an active push to stop gerrymandering because the main beneficiaries are the Republicans. So that's why, like, once Democrats get into office, if they don't put boot to ass and get these people to be investigated, to be held accountable so justice can be served, the Democrats are done. The Democrats are done. Oh, that'd be fucking hilarious. So he can't even do it there? He would fucking circumvent that shit. Is he the mayor, or because if it's in Washington D.C., does he have the ability to? That's true, but I know he'll circumvent that shit, bro, because it's like a territory. Okay, hey, dude. I mean, with the American State Fair being such a wash, I think she should, to make it seem like how awful he is, you know? It is, yeah, it's definitely a federal territory. It's kind of like a weird city state. It's its own jurisdiction, and it's pretty much run by Congress. There is certain levels of representation for the people that live there, but certain things like Trump being able to call the National Guard, he has the right to, because DC is kind of like a territory. So that's why he was able to deploy the National Guards there, and because there was no governor to go against them. So it's a weird little fucking city state. It's kind of fucking interesting.
We will advance
It's like the Vatican, I guess.
those principles further. We will win the midterms. The Republicans will stay in charge. And we will continue to advance great policy like Beth recounted, the Working Families Tax Cut, that we celebrate the one-year anniversary of July 4th, and so many other things. Over 700 pieces of legislation that have passed through the House, over 100 executive orders codified already, and there is more to come. We have much more to do. America's back. You should celebrate.
No, no. What executive orders have been codified, dumbass? That would mean a bunch of laws. What laws have you passed? Yes. I mean, there's a lot of reasons in general too. Like, there's definitely I could see the arguments on both sides, but it's kind of weird to have that. It makes it feel like your vote does not matter nearly as much there, which is kind of like weird. It's like a weird level of disenfranchisement because there's a lot of shit that they want passed too as a city, and they can't get it done because they don't have the ability to. Right, right. Yeah, so they can't mess up the Capitol building and shit. Like, I definitely understand the reasoning for it. I just, there has to be a better way to solve a problem by giving the people certain representation too. Or like some sort of incentive for like living there.
All the great things it is to be an American.
Mr. Speaker, good morning. Thank you. What was the obligation of Tom Kane Jr. to his constituents about his health during this prolonged absence? Should he have said something to them?
I understand Tom has given a speech on the floor this hour. I don't know exactly what he said, but I hope that he was fully transparent, as I encouraged him, many times over the last few months to be.
Should he have been more upfront in that interregnum?
What did he say? Did he tell what his?
He hasn't said anything.
Okay, all right. Well, then
but I'm saying he had 4 months to do that.
he did, and I encouraged him to be transparent.
Yeah, this fucking representative from the Republican Senate has been missing for 4 months. What the fuck?
What you will find when he does the speech, whenever that happens today, is that there's no conspiracy involved in this at all. There's nothing scandalous at all. He has a health condition, as he said. If it were me, I would have been more specific about that, and I encouraged him to be. He will today, but it will be understandable to you. It's not an uncommon kind of condition and an ailment that he's been fighting, and I think people were.
No, he should be upfront with it. Because the state didn't have representation in the fucking government for 4 months thanks to him. Yes, yes. Like the things that they actually need to have territory over, they control lines and district it out. Like they don't actually need to do that much. Like they don't need that much space. All the spots that the legislatures and the congressional people go through, carve out those territories, you know?
Resonate with it. I think you'll get a lot of empathy because it's something that's very, very common. So I encourage him to come back. I'll say this about my colleague. He is a genuinely good man. He comes from a long line of valiant public service. His family is very well known for their service, and he's a person of integrity. And I think he'll express this with the integrity and the character that he's always shown us as
Sorry,
a great
Mike.
team player, a patriot, a faithful public servant.
The pedophile party is not going to be the barometer of what good men are. So sorry if I don't take your word for it.
He's missed some votes, but he's still been working as he was able, as he explained. His staff's been working overtime, I know, because they're in constant contact with mine. And I think his
How's he
constituents
working?
have been served throughout this process. We're all human. People get ailments. People have to fight cancer and terminal diseases
How?
and all sorts of other maladies. But they're still the duly elected representatives. They do their best in those trying times, and I think the American people understand that. I think Tom gets reelected easily this fall, and he'll be back, and he'll be back in full health, and he'll continue to do what he's been doing his whole career.
Mr. Speaker, how you have a bunch of issues, and as you alluded to on this rule, save, and there's this Delphi pension situation that Mike Turner said you were for, so the president was for, and then it was made out of, or not made in order.
I do. I think I did a Jubilee episode a couple of weeks ago. I think I did. Who did I do? Dave Rubin. I think I did Dave Rubin's bitch ass. I think I did maybe Dean Withers, but it was him against a bunch of crazy ass MAGA women, and they were just fucking insane. It was just too hard to watch.
In the Rules Committee. What's your plan on that?
Well, on the Delphi thing,
I don't like their format too much, but I do like their format somewhat, you know? It's pretty interesting. I like those kind of scenarios, but I don't like the edits. I want the raw everything.
ran into a point of order problem, a rule problem, because the way it was presented, it was, not to get too deep in the weeds, but it was appropriating on an authorizing measure, and that's always been subject to a point of order and a problem. Mike Turner is earnestly trying to get this problem solved for this handful, not handful, it's a significant number of employees of the former Delphi corporation that had their pensions rated under the Barack Obama administration, and we're anxiously trying to get a solution to that, so I certainly understand and appreciate his zeal. There were hundreds of amendments filed to the NDAA. Many of them were not made in order because they were either not germane to the underlying bill.
Bro, that was fucking hard. Like, a handful of times I had to go show my partner. I was like, baby, look at what these crazy ass motherfuckers said. That we shouldn't have rights. Like, they're like, do you believe you should have a right to vote? They're like, quiet. Like, what?
Or they had a point of order they were subject to.
What?
Of another committee, and we've been very insistent since we returned to the majority back in 2023 that anything that goes on the NDAA.
It was insane that so many people will happily vote against their own interest, and so much so that I'm like, if you believe everything you believe, then why are you arguing with Dean? And a few times they're like, yeah, explain it to me, and I was like, oh my god, they really are trying to promote that. Like, damn.
I think logically, obviously, it must be directly related to defense spending and within the jurisdiction of House Armed Services Committee. And that's a rule that we've maintained consistently across the board. So we're working on that, a number of issues. Of course, people get grumpy sometimes when their amendments are not made in order on a big bill like that. But we addressed it in conference this morning. We reminded everybody of the rule. We have to be intellectually consistent about this, and we're going to work through those other issues. Now, with regard to the Save America Act, listen, I don't know how many times I can say this. As you all know, we've passed the Save America Act in one of its various forms 3 times in the House already. We will pass it again this week when the NDAA passes.
Yes. And that's what I mean. So it's like no better than an Alex Jones kind of thing at some point. Because if just making it outlandish and bringing in people that should never have a platform to be able to find the other village idiots is doing a disservice to reality. There's a certain point where, yes, you're supposed to have debates with a broad range of humans. But at certain points, there are certain village idiots that should not meet other village idiots, and you kind of help them find other idiots because now this fool had a platform, and you gave it to him. Dude, the fucking Mehdi, I think I watched the Mehdi Hassan, actually. Because that was fucking wild, too, man. Yep, go back to your country, people. And I was like... Or when, I think I watched another one with Mehdi Hassan. I think I watched Mehdi Hassan and some other person. Oh, with PBD. I watched Mehdi Hassan and PBD. And he was like, PBD, if you were immigrating now, instead of back 20 years ago, Trump wouldn't let you in. And he's like, he has no answer. Because literally, Trump would not let you in, dog. You wouldn't be let in. Yeah, but I don't know how you could do that format when the Republican side is all going to be, well, then I had faith, or I felt this is what I wanted. You can't have an argument with a Republican. You can't have a debate with a Republican because there is no standard guidelines that they want to follow. There is no rules. There's no rubric. They don't want to go on facts. They don't want to go on definitions based on, like, I don't know, the fucking dictionary and shit. They're like literally really not doing much of anything.
the Save America Act, as passed in February unanimously by all Republicans, and that's components of the proof of citizenship to register to vote and voter ID when you show up to vote, that will be merged onto the NDAA and transmitted to the Senate as one bill. That's the most efficient, effective way to do it. There's no need to add an amendment to the NDAA. Let's just have the full bill that's still sitting there and has been transmitted to the Senate. Let's send it again, but put it as part of something that we hope and believe will be a bipartisan vote in both chambers, and that Democrats in the Senate will understand goodness, as much as I may have disagreements with the current administration.
Let me ask
it's
you-
important to pay the troops and fund national defense. I certainly hope that they understand that, and maybe the SAVE Act makes it through in that vehicle. We're going to continue to do everything we can. I would pass the Save America Act every day in the House if I thought it would do any good, but we're going to be stacking them up over there. This will be the fourth iteration. We're going to hope that the Senate will do the right thing.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Secretary.
Hi.
The
Do you have any
Senate
opinion
will
on
do the right
Supreme
thing?
Court rulings that have been decided this morning?
This morning,
Yes. So I'll give him the ability to change, but the crazy part is like, I know he's voted everything the Republican side has wanted. And same thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was literally that point too. She was at the point where she had voted 99% of the time, and they were just so happy to cut her out so quick. Where it's like Thomas Massey, I was like, did you need to be shown that to know that as soon as you decide to have a conscience or have an ethical barometer, you're fucked? So I am happy, just like I'm happy Marjorie Taylor Greene decided to become woke. But like, bitch, you were the reason why Trump got elected twice. And instead of staying in and fighting the Republican Party from inside, you had 1 month of death threats, so you decided to run away? Fuck you. You know how many people got death threats because of your stupid ass party? You know how many people had been harassed and their families fucking harassed because of Trump and the Republican Party? You had 1 month of death threats, and you immediately fucking ran away. Fucking coward. So, I hate Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I always will. I'm happy she's standing against it now. But I'm like, you had all that option to do it so many times before, but you liked him being the devil on your side. You loved him making the Democrats scared or beating up on people and stealing their right to vote away. You loved it. But now that your kids were affected...
I've been busy since 6. I haven't seen the ones this morning.
Not that coordination limit.
Yeah, they ruled on transgender athletes that states can pretty much, they can, let me read. They can protect against discrimination solely on the basis of biological sex.
Yeah, that sounds like the right result. That's common sense, and I think what we expected. I can reference the opinions came out yesterday. I had quick time to review those at about 1 a.m. Last night, and I can tell you that the one that we were really very disappointed in was the Watson case, where they said, this is how long do you count mail-in ballots? California is destroying
California, look at his sassiness.
mail-in ballots. California is destroying every American's faith in the election system by dragging this thing out and counting ballots for weeks on the end after an election.
Yeah, bitch, California has a fuck ton of people, dog. California has 1/3 of our fucking populace. And you're worried about California taking 2 weeks to count ballots? Shut up, dog.
It's absurd. And I think the court missed this one. It's 5-4, and I think it went the wrong way. And he said, well, the states get to decide how to do that. Now, there is some question as whether we can tighten that statute and make another run at that, so we're looking at that in detail. I'm going to make sure Congress does everything possible to ensure free and fair elections. Everything within our jurisdiction in every way possible. I tell you, every Republican in the Senate and the House is committed to that, and it is shocking and sad to me that Democrats refuse to vote for the most basic election integrity measures, even to
Guys, you guys voted to release the Epstein files and you still haven't done it, so shut up.
say that you have to be a citizen to vote in America. There are Democrats who will not vote for that. Even though it's already part of federal law. It's not enforced in the blue states. They will not vote for the enforcement of that. They will not vote on federal elections.
You're
for
right.
you to have an
We
ID
ain't.
show to vote. That's a 90-10 public opinion issue. At least
No, it's not. Stop lying.
80 in almost every survey. Everybody
So is gun control. It's a fucking 80-20 issue, and it's a real 80-20 issue, yet you guys won't pass any fucking sensible gun laws.
understands common sense that Democrats won't help us. We got to do it on our own.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
So birthright citizenship, which as I speak has not come down yet, but it helped hundreds of thousands of formerly enslaved people in Louisiana. Now, do you as a constitutional lawyer and representative to the descendants of some of those people who were enslaved agree with the president that it should be done away with?
What was the, I missed the first part of the question.
It helped hundreds of thousands.
No, what was
It has not come down yet, but do you agree with the president that it should be done away with?
What has it come down?
Birthright citizenship. The last case has not come down yet, but do you
birthright, sorry,
agree?
birthright citizenship. Yeah, okay, look, yes, as a constitutional lawyer, I got lots of opinions on this. Okay, I understand what the framers did, and when we added this to our constitutional order, I understood what the intent was. I think anybody who looks at this, here,
That the citizen is children born in the United States, parents unlawfully or temporarily present, are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause.
They just passed
What's
it,
your reaction
bitch!
to that, Mr. Speaker?
well, I need to read.
They just
but
passed it,
that's-
dog.
You can say that's a textualist, originalist view. However, I do think that
However, what? If it's a fucking originalist view, just like Scalito was, then why are you knocking against it? Huh? Why are you now saying, but?
This has been grossly abused in recent years, okay? And that is the case that was being made by the plaintiffs in the case, and we're very sympathetic to that because it is a serious problem. We have it's become a tourism, birthing tourism, a trend where people will just come onto the soil and have your job, and then they're able to avail themselves of the welfare state and everything else. It's been abused. It's one of those things that was intended to serve a noble and important purpose and has been thwarted and overused and abused. And so I'm sure that we'll continue to look at that. I mean, I'm sure the conclusion of this opinion is going to be that you got to amend the Constitution to fix that. As we all know, it's a big challenge to amend the Constitution. It's only happened 27 times in our whole nation's history, and the reason is because you got to have 2/3 of the both chambers of Congress and 3/4 of the states to ratify. It's usually at least a many years long process and very complicated. We'll see. I'm sure there's going to be lots of discussion about that. I will say I'm very disappointed in that outcome. I think it subjects the country to serious challenges going forward, and we'll have to deal with it as Congress.
Mr. Speaker.
Front row, sorry.
On the housing bill.
No, it won't. Because the Constitution is only good, is only as good as like the Bible is. Once you start reading a part of you need to be good to your neighbor and you need to start helping the other side, you're reading the wrong one. Similar to the Constitution. When the Constitution says that everyone deserves due process or that people born on this soil are citizens, I'm just not liking why they wrote that, I don't think they were thinking of me when they wrote that back then, because there's a lot of people that don't want to be, citizens. Crazy.
The president said yesterday that the housing bill is unimportant in his view compared to the Save America Act. I know you want to see the Save America Act passed, but do you share that view that the president said yesterday? He seemed a little bit dismissive of the bill. And then in your conversations with him, are you confident that it will become law, that he will not veto it? And then are Republicans missing out on that opportunity for him to sign a piece of legislation that you all described affordability as a big issue?
I'm so glad somebody asked this question. This was about the housing bill I was telling you about, the one that he's holding hostage and not signing. Like, this would make it so corporations can't buy up a bunch of houses to make it available so we could actually purchase them.
You got to amend the Constitution to fix that. As we all know, it's a big challenge to amend the Constitution. It's only happened 27 times in our whole nation's history. And the reason is because you got to have 2/3 of the both chambers of Congress and 3/4 of the states to ratify. It's usually at least a many years long process and very complicated. We'll see. I'm sure there's going to be lots of discussion about that. I will say I'm very disappointed in that outcome. I think it subjects the country to serious challenges going forward, and we'll have to deal with it as Congress.
Mr. Speaker.
Front row, sorry.
On the housing bill, the president
What
said yesterday
challenge
that the
is it
housing bill
subjected
is
to?
unimportant in his view.
What does it subject them to? By the fact that they are deserving of rights and to be called American citizens?
In that outcome, I think it subjects the country to serious challenges going forward, and we'll have to deal with it as Congress.
What challenge?
Mr. Speaker.
Front row, sorry.
What challenge?
On the housing bill, the president said yesterday that the housing bill is unimportant in his view compared to the Save America Act. I know you want to see the Save America Act passed, but do you share that view that the president said yesterday? He seemed a little bit dismissive of the bill. And then in your conversations with him, are you confident that it will become law, that he will not veto it? And then are Republicans missing out on that opportunity for him to sign a piece of legislation that you all described affordability as a big issue in the midterm election?
Yeah, it is. The president has a lot going on, and I think it's safe to say he's not read through every line of that piece of legislation. There's a lot to it, and a lot of great things, and he and I have spoken about it quite a bit. He understands all of that here, what he was saying, and legislation. What he was saying is, in comparison to ensuring election integrity, which is now represented by the Save America Act, nothing is as important, because you cannot maintain a constitutional republic unless you have free and fair elections. The government of, by, and for the people is ultimately and foundationally dependent upon that. That's what the president is saying. We all agree with that. By the way, so do the American people. And that's not to say that there are not also incredibly important issues, and the cost of living and affordability is among them. It's top of mind. I've spent 6 hours in the Oval Office just in the last few days. I think 4 hours on Thursday, over 2 hours yesterday. We talked about all this in great length. The president certainly understands the importance of affordable housing.
Yeah. So that's why, bro, saying if I told you these motherfuckers were trying to take away birthright citizenship from Native Americans at one point. They were trying to say that Native Americans had the possibility of not being American citizens, dog. Where did they come from? They didn't sprout out of the fucking... And if they did sprout out of the ground like daisies, then they're definitely from here.
In many respects, was part of his portfolio and career. And he understands that we've got to reduce the age of the average first-time homebuyer from in their 40s to their early 30s and get back to some sensible market conditions. Now, he also points out that interest rates are a major factor in that, as we all know. Anytime there's a housing boom, there's lower interest rates and it spurs on that activity. But there are also input costs and the cost of construction and the barriers to entry. We addressed so much of that in this housing bill that we fought like warrior poets in the House to make sure it was good Republican policy in the end.
But you're not going to pass it. Trump is not going to let you pass it.
More affordability and availability to more people. president is 100% in favor of all that. It will become law. I've encouraged him that he should put he has a big, bold signature, as you all know. And I said, sir, you should get the fattest black marker you have and sign your name really big on that, because the results of it, I'm telling you, are going to be very, very good for the American people, and it will fulfill your promises and your desires, sir, to make sure that more people can grasp the American dream. And so I hope he does sign it. If he doesn't, it's still law. We'll still sell it.
My desires.
And I said, sir, you should get the fattest black marker you have and sign your name on that. It will become law. I've encouraged him that he should put he has a big, bold signature, as you all know. And I said, sir, you should get the fattest black marker you have and sign your name really big on that, because the results of it, I'm telling you, are going to be very, very good for the American people, and it will fulfill your promises and your desires, sir, to make sure that more people can grasp the American dream. And so I hope he does sign it. If he doesn't, it's still law. We'll still celebrate it. But he's trying to make
I
a
hope
point,
you do
and I
sign
think
it
he's
with
very
your
effective
big
and the fact that
black
asked me to
marker
stepped
and
on the
your
hallway illustrates that he
bold
has achieved
rambunctious
the desired
name.
objective, and that is to make Save America the number one thing. Because if we don't get that right,
Ooh.
everybody's concerned about what happens next. So I think that's a way to
You
summarize
didn't
it.
realize
Thanks for
that a
lifetime commentary.
conference could have been a
Supreme Court case I
smut
haven't read
reading,
yet.
huh?
I'll go do my best and dig into that. Thank you all for the time.
Sorry for
Have a good
interrupting.
night.
Sorry for interrupting, Mr. Speaker.
Dig in. Dig in, Mike. Ooh. The way he went about it, it just twist my nipples. So, depending on what you guys want to do, in this last I don't know, maybe hour or so, we could listen to, we could listen to another fucking conference of one of these. Then the next one I potentially had to watch, see if you like the title already. This doesn't sound good. This doesn't really sound fun. And even yes. I mean, we've had so many of the Irish immigrants. We've had so many of the Russian immigrants. We had so many Germans. We had so many of the Armenians. Like, everyone has had their life changed here. And yes, every one of those people brought their cultures, but all of them wanted to be a part of this country. They wanted to be a part of this great nation. So they all became American. But just because they want to also emulate their culture in this country doesn't make it a bad thing. In fact, it makes it better. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. And then Asians weren't considered. Japanese weren't we had internment camps for them. Like, we've had so many American citizens, even today with ICE, being locked up in jail just because of the color of their skin, that they need to prove that they're citizens? Nah. Yep. But that's why. As soon as they all were also able to tell the Irish that, hey guys, by the way, you're white. We could hate the brown people. Oh, by the way, Germans, you're white. You could hate the brown people. By the way, Italians, you could definitely hate the black people. And that's fucked. But that's what they did. Should we just watch a Jubilee episode? No, we could do a Jubilee. We could do the Mehdi Hassan. Or even the video you shared about the SpaceX nonsense. I'm going to kind of chuck that in real quick. Let me see what my save for later is. Watch.
This is Charlie, and he's got a huge problem. See, Charlie...
I wouldn't mind doing this if you guys are down to watch a little bit of Elon nonsense. I'm going to go take a piss. Y'all marinate this for a second. Daddy's going to be right back. Let me smoke this and let me piss, let me mute this so y'all can't hear me piss. True. I don't know, dog. Hey, fuck it. If you guys are that excited about me possibly commentating on some game, all right, I could, you know, I could, yeah, I'm down. I'm down. I'm down. You guys want to see the fucking magic happen, dog? You guys want to see the fucking 8 p.m.s, homie? I might need to fucking start doing like fucking hand and mouse cam so you guys could see I'm legit, bro. Like, shit. Fucking almost like almost like whatever the fucking second highest tier of like Reinhardt was back in the day, bro. Shit, my carpal tunnel didn't slow down nothing. My carpal tunnel didn't slow down nothing, dog. And let me switch this to just chatting. Not bad. Okay. I did a little bit of YouTube streaming, so let me turn off my YouTube stream.